All right, next we have the Colts and the Titans, and guess what? The Colts finally won.
Barely.
Yeah, a
Dude,
fucking tough win.
all right. I actually have a little bit I want to say about this one. I can maybe come to life after we. I don't know if what order our videos are going to be posted in, or whoever's watching this is going to watch them all. But we recorded the 4 blowouts right in a row, and it was like, okay. So this game though, first half, I've got luck on my fantasy team. No one
Mm.
gives a shit, but I'm just putting into perspective. I'm about ready to bench him. Like next week, I'm thinking, man, first half went off. I'm benching Luck next week. I don't know who the fuck I'm gonna play, but this is just bad.
Yeah.
Second half, I'm almost ready to write off the Colts. I'm like, man, they're not even gonna win the fucking division. Second half, it proved that I was stupid for letting my faith waver. Because damn, he scored like 2 touchdowns in like 50 something seconds, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry I doubted you, Luck. You'll never see this video, but I did, and never again. The Colts are. He is performing well despite his team.
The thing is, in a way, my faith isn't restored yet with the Colts.
Oh,
Yes,
not with the Colts as a whole. Well, I don't know, in that
no,
division.
even with Andrew Luck, and the reason why is with me. Yes, you got your win, and
Right.
and it was against a divisional rival, which you would think that shouldn't be too hard against Tennessee. But honestly, I mean, Mariota got 5 touchdowns in the first week. He came out
Right.
here. He played actually a really good game against the Colts. Granted,
He did.
Colts secondary isn't very good, but Mariota didn't look bad either, like by any means. Andrew Luck is having a bad problem, and he had a bad problem even this game with interceptions. He's still
Yeah.
throwing interceptions, and it's kind of reminding me of the year that Philip Rivers had a really bad problem with interceptions. And I think that's honestly what's going to happen to Luck this year is that his interceptions might actually outweigh his total touchdowns this year. And it could just be an off year. It happened to Rivers. He
Well,
just
I
had a
know.
really bad year, and then the next year he came out there, he seemed on fire. And it could just be an off year for him.
Everyone was quick to crown Andrew Luck as the next Peyton Manning, and I think a lot of that was, he's on the Colts. He was a early, #1 draft pick, all that. But maybe he's the next Brett Favre. With these interceptions and still winning games somehow. Anyway, touchdowns, the magic. He's fun to watch. He lets it fly. He's taking risks. Sometimes it pays off. Sometimes it don't. That's who he reminds me of. Big tough guy carrying the game. Maybe the team's not there. The Packers had a lot of years where the team wasn't that hot, and Brett Favre was by far the best player on that team.
Yeah.
You know, late 2000s. I mean, early 2000s, late 90s, especially.
Yeah, that is
Uh,
very true. That's a very good
that's who
point.
he reminds me of, and I think that he's gonna maybe. Everyone's freaking out a little bit. Maybe he had 3 games where it was kind of rough. It's only 3 games, people. Let's let the season play out. Let's see what happens. They did win this week,
They
so
did. And
bravo.
I know divisional games are tough.
Right.
Um, Titans, I think, ended up looking tougher than what maybe people expected them to be.
Yeah,
Except
and
for
Mariota didn't have a good preseason, but
no,
the regular season started and he showed the preseason's bullshit,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, definitely.
Uh, this is interesting. I think interesting note. Mariota's had 3 starts, and he started against Winston, who also won the Heisman,
Yeah,
and then he started against Johnny Manziel, who won the Heisman,
yeah,
and then he started against Andrew Luck, who probably should have won the Heisman. So I'm waiting to see him play a veteran quarterback team. He's played a lot of younger guys,
yeah.
and I think the Titans are on a bye week this week.
They are. Yeah,
So yeah, but he's had some high profile starters he's faced off against, and he did. I think maybe he had a little bit of a chip on his shoulder that first game to show like, man, I shouldn't have been number 2. I should have been number 1 when he had that perfect passer rating and
Yeah.
outplayed Winston everywhere. You know.
Yeah.
Ugh. But man, I like what Mariota's doing. I like the Titans, the way they're looking.
The only bad thing Titans don't always look good is when Fowler had that really bad 2 point conversion and just seemed
Uh,
fucking lost during it.
yeah,
Obviously, Titans have some certain problems to work out. Uh, thank God they have Mariota because hopefully with Mariota, that Titans could potentially keep building a team around them
but
with years to come. And uh, they kind of remind me right now of what Oakland looked like last
yeah,
year,
yeah, that's
where
actually exactly
you
who I
got
was
your
thinking.
quarterback, you got a solid quarterback, you're
Right.
slowly building up something. Probably next year you're gonna see a big rookie wide receiver, some good maybe defensive linemen, or maybe some offensive linemen if they need help on offensive line. And
Right.
I think if they're smart, at least they'll potentially build up a better team and maybe even be more of a threat in the division next year of what they look threatening to the Colts this game.
Well, I think in a lot of these divisions, what you're seeing is 2015, and it's going to happen for the next couple of years. We're starting to see a shift in the traditional powers for the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of teams that have been pretty bad for, maybe the entire new millennium, or the majority of it at least, are starting to bounce back a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think you're about to see some of the traditional powers turn on their heads. I mean, I hate to say it, but it looks like right now the Saints or the NFC South has opened wide up because and it's not so much about those teams being good as it is I think the Saints being not good. But you're seeing that across the divisions. The AFC South has been dominated by the Colts pretty much. You know, since Peyton Manning's been
Yeah,
there.
since 1998
So
probably.
right, minus 1 year when the Texans bounced up and took that spot in between Manning and Luck. And
Yeah.
thanks to J.J. Watt, they're going to stay a contender. But until they get their offense together, it doesn't J.J. Watt, unless he starts playing quarterback, it don't fucking matter how many sacks he gets. But uh, if he can go out there and throw the ball too and be Iron Man football and play both sides, okay. But uh, the Texans just don't look like they're there yet, and they're leaving the door open for teams like the Titans to rise up. We mentioned it in the Jaguars video. The Jaguars are looking a little bit better,
Mm-hmm.
and since the AFC South is just so bad right now, you're seeing it. They're letting teams maybe slip in as contenders that probably shouldn't. Kind of like what happened in the NFC South last year, where every team was bad. So even the Tampa Bay Bucks, as awful as they were a legit playoff contender.
Yeah.
Like with 2 wins, worst team in the league, didn't get eliminated from the playoffs until like deep in the season.
Yeah.
I think we might see that from the AFC South this year. I know it's early, but none of the teams look particularly good at all.
It's probably the best way to
But
sum it
not,
up.
but none of them look like complete garbage either. So I don't know. There you go.
See how the rest of it plays out then.
All right.